The whole idea of AI taking our jobs, it always felt like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Something way off in the future. Well, surprise. That future isn't decades away. It's here, right now, and it's moving way faster than even the experts thought. So today, we're going to dig into this massive acceleration, and we'll be using Andrew Yang as our guide. The guy who's been sounding this alarm for years. And wow, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? This is Andrew Yang, the man who literally built a whole presidential campaign on warning us about automation, and he's saying, whoa, even I didn't think it would happen this fast. It's like the timeline we all had in our heads just got crumpled up and thrown out the window. So yeah, this isn't some academic theory anymore. This acceleration is happening in the real world. And the proof? Well, it's coming straight from the top. You just have to look at the memos being sent around inside some of the biggest companies on the planet. Okay, let's look at this memo from Amazon CEO. Get more done with scroppier teams. You gotta love the corporate speak, right? Scroppier is just a nice way of saying do more with way fewer people. And what's the magic ingredient making that possible? You guessed it, AI. This is a massive signal, a huge shift in how corporations are thinking about their workforce. So, if scrappier is the new buzzword, that brings up the big, scary question. Whose job is on the line? Who's actually being replaced? And believe me, the answer has changed a lot. There's a whole new front line in this automation wave. Remember all the warnings from a few years ago? It was always about truck drivers, factory workers, right? But just look at this list. Customer service, designers, coders. These are the very jobs we told an entire generation were the safe ones, the future-proof careers. Well, it looks like the front line just crashed right through the office doors. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some random analyst guess. This is coming straight from the CEO of Anthropic, one of the biggest players in the AI game. He's not even hiding it. He's flat out saying, yeah, our tech is going to automate away these jobs. When the guy building the hammer tells you it's for nails, you should probably believe him. So this is what that scrappy team thing actually looks like. It used to be you'd have, say, a team of 6 designers working on a project. Now, you've got one designer, powered up by AI, doing the work of all 6. And that's the brutal new math of this whole thing. One person becomes a superhero of productivity, and the other 5? Well, they're updating their resumes. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. We've heard this story before, right? Don't worry, technology always creates more jobs in the end. And for 150 years, that's been true. But the argument being made now is that AI isn't just another steam engine. It's different. And those old rules we relied on, they might not apply anymore. And that's really the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Are we just in another cycle of creative destruction, or has AI completely broken the pattern for good? To really get why this time could be different, we need to think about something really basic. How does a career even work? Think about the classic career ladder. We all know the drill. You get that first entry-level job, right? You're at the bottom, learning the ropes, making mistakes, gaining experience, and then, slowly but surely, you start climbing up. That first rung is everything. It's the foundation for your entire career. Okay, but what happens when that first rung of the ladder just disappears? That's the problem. AI is targeting and automating away those exact entry-level jobs. So if the next generation can't even get on the ladder, how are they supposed to climb? It's impossible. You can't become a senior coder if you never got to be a junior coder first. And this right here is why you hear people calling this the fourth industrial revolution. That's not just a fancy term. It's meant to tell you about the sheer scale of this thing. We're not talking about a small update. We're talking about a radical, history-making event that could totally rewrite how our society works. Now, if all that wasn't intense enough, think about the environment this is all happening in. This isn't some careful, planned rollout. Oh, no. What we're seeing is a flat-out, high-stakes arms race. And the scariest part? There are almost no rules. Everything is pushing for more speed. You've got companies fighting each other for more computing power. You've got countries framing it as a geopolitical battle. We can't let China win. The result is this frantic go, go, go mentality. And in a race like that, stopping to think about the societal impact, that's seen as a weakness, as falling behind. And you even have voices like Pope Francis weighing in, adding this really powerful moral angle to the whole debate. He's warning against the arrogance of just pushing forward with technology without considering the human cost. He's basically begging leaders to hit the pause button and think before it's too late. But on the other side, what do the AI companies want? Well, the exact opposite. Their goal is to get the government to take a total hands-off approach. They're worried about different states making different rules. So they're pushing for weak federal regulation or not at all. And that could create a total Wild West scenario where this incredibly powerful tech develops with nobody at the wheel. Okay, so we've got a massive disruption happening at lightning speed in a totally unregulated race. It sounds pretty bleak, right? So is there anything we can actually do about it? Are we just stuck on this runaway train? Well, thankfully, the conversation is starting to shift from just identifying the problem to actually trying to find some solutions. And Andrew Yang just nails the challenge with this one simple question. Think about it. We're at point A right now, the start of this huge, messy disruption. And way over there is point B, a future where all this incredible wealth that AI is creating actually benefits everybody. The question is, how in the world do we get from here to there? That's the challenge of our lifetime. Because if we just let things keep going the way they are, well, this is what our future looks like. Almost all of the money, all of the value created by AI is going to flow to just a handful of giant companies. And the average person, the one whose job might have just disappeared, they get the crumbs. That's not a great path to be on.
So what's the answer, according to Yang? It's the idea he's been talking about for years, universal basic income, or UBI. The concept is actually pretty straightforward. As AI makes our society insanely wealthy, but traditional jobs get harder to find, you take some of that new wealth and you distribute it to everyone. It creates a new economic floor, a safety net for this new world.
And this gets to a really core part of his argument. He doesn't believe the free market can fix this on its own. In his view, this is exactly what government is for, to step in during a massive transition like this and make sure the benefits of this new revolution are shared with everyone, not just hoarded by a few at the top. And really, that's the bottom line. The potential of AI is just staggering. It could create a world with more wealth and abundance than we can even imagine. But here's the thing. The AI isn't going to decide who gets that wealth. We are. And that single choice, that one decision, is probably going to define everything about the century ahead of us.